I'm here with Tracie Buckman from Marbella Dream Living, a long-standing real estate agency here that I've known particularly well over the years. Hi Tracie.
Hi Mark, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So we're here to find out a bit about you and a bit about the Marbella Dream Living and the business. So let's kick off. Tracie, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this business.
So, I am actually British. I was born in the UK, educated in the UK, and then my first part of my career was very similar to what you guys actually do. Mm-hmm. So I am financially educated. I was able to do loans, pensions, investment advice for clients for a very well-known bank, still out there, still going, so I didn't manage to ruin them. And then I decided that sort of style of life and that kind of career wasn't quite for me. So I went off traveling around the world and had an amazing time for a few years, and then decided that travel was where I wanted to be. So got really heavily into the travel industry. Ended up visiting lots of different countries, finally in Kenya, and then my dad unfortunately was not too well. So I decided I would come over to Spain for 6 months, and that was it. I fell in love with the place, with the country, with the people, dog later, house later, and then I started with this career. It was a little advert that I saw, but you know what? I think I can do that. I applied, I was given the job, and haven't looked back since.
That little advert was for what?
For Marbella Dream Living.
Oh.
Actually for, it was originally for a telesalesperson, and I decided that I would apply for that position, and I was very, very fortunate that the managing directors, both of them, saw something in me, and I was trained and educated by them and given so much sort of tutorship from them that I was then able to go on and become one of the sales team.
So tell us a bit about the company that you work for, Marbella Dream Living.
I'm incredibly lucky, considering it was the first position really in real estate as a real estate agent. I think I chose one of the best. We are very proud of our reputation, we're very transparent, we listen very much to our clients, but I also, as I mentioned, our two managing directors have been on the coast for over 40 years. They've been in real estate for pretty much that length of time. Marbella Dream Living as we know it now was founded in 2010. But we were able to feed off all of the experience from previously. Clive Saxby, one of the managing directors, was very high up in Ocean Estates, which was massive at the time. One of the biggest companies across the industry.
I know the two managing directors, the managing partners, pretty well. They both been very influential in my career. Yeah. For that, I thank them very much. So and both David and Clive were very encouraging to me as a young whippersnapper getting involved in starting up a business, and that was very helpful. So there's always a fondness that I have for.
And they're happy to share that as well, because many companies we found as well, obviously experiencing that although they want individuals to do well, with both Clive and with David Woodland, they've always fostered that really nice team spirit, that we look after each other as a team, we work together as a team, we present together as a team, and everybody's there to help each other succeed, rather than some of the agents that you do find and some of the agencies.
Yeah, I found that with David and Clive, is that they're very nurturing and they're very encouraging, and that can be very helpful when you're finding your feet.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what you?
It was incredible. The learning curve that I had with both of them, plus the opportunity that they gave me, has been absolutely incredible. I don't think I could ever ask for any more. But it is nice because they've also introduced us to so many different people, professionals such as yourself, which also makes our life so much easier.
Now, I know last year was a bit complicated for Marbella Dream Living. Can you explain to us what happened?
Following quite a long battle with cancer, we did actually lose Clive, which hit us and impacted, as you can imagine, personally, as well as professionally. So the whole of the team were impacted by his loss. But we also had to share that loss with the whole of the coast. He impacted so many different lives, not just in real estate, the volume of people that knew him that even now we still have that sort of the impact of him. You know, he was a huge force of nature, massive personality. I'm sure you'll agree that once you met Clive, you would not forget him. And between the sort of partnership with David, you know, it made them both such strong individuals. But for us, it was very difficult, and it meant that we also had to make quite a few changes internally and externally with our marketing, how we presented ourselves. And it's like a big ship. It takes a wee while to kind of move the ship across. But we had to do it, and we had to make sure that we kept our end of the bargain, which was to make Clive incredibly proud of us.
Yeah. We're now in 2024. How's it started?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Generally, January can be quite a quiet month. For us, yes, okay, it's the first couple of weeks when everybody settled back in after New Year and the partying, and we obviously have to celebrate Three Kings. We're here in Spain. And then that was it. It just went boom, and it's continued to do so. So last week's a good example of juggling clients, juggling people that are already in the purchase process, viewings for our properties. We've got a great property management department, and our bookings for the summer rental season. It's just flying, absolutely flying. So it's a great 2024.
So what are your plans for driving the business forward?
Okay, well, we've seen a lot of businesses come, a lot go. There are a lot of sort of one-man bands across the whole of the coast that weren't able to survive during, obviously, the change through Brexit, through pandemic. For us, we're focusing very highly on our social media and how we present out. We're investing quite a lot of money per month into our marketing so that our appearance, we're making sure that we're well known. We know that we're already well known across the coast, but we're now focusing worldwide to make sure that everybody's getting the same transparent message from us.
Okay, so you've obviously spoken to a lot of Spanish property investors. Mm-hmm. What are the most common reasons that they give for wanting to invest in this area?
Well, there's one very obvious answer, of course. It's the sunshine, it's the lifestyle. Aside from that, infrastructure. We are very lucky that we have such a modern infrastructure. It's also incredibly easy for people to fly from various destinations around the world. Thanks to high-speed internet, etc., many people can actually work here. And that's the difference. A few years ago, people had to go into offices to do their job. Now, so many work from home. If you're going to work from home, why would you want to be stuck in a wet, miserable country? You know, we have Norwegians, you know, so many different nationalities that it's wet, it's cold, it's snowy for the majority of the year. They might as well come and work here.
Yeah.
You know, so now our investors are looking for a better lifestyle for themselves, but also to generate income on the side as well from investment properties.
And that's one thing that we've managed to learn or adapt or take on board from the pandemic, wasn't it? Is that the fact that the internet connection is so good that we are able to work from anywhere.
Doesn't matter. You can be absolutely anywhere in the world now. You know, as long as you've got a reasonable backdrop, then you can make your online phone calls, you can do your work, and then walk down to the pool. Most new developments now have actually taken this into account. So along with sustainability, which is another contributing factor to people investing here, most new developments now have already specified and selected co-working areas. So if you have a family in the apartment or in your house, what you can do is go down to the co-working area, guaranteed peace and quiet, you're guaranteed a nice calm backdrop to be able to have your meeting. And so it works.
So what kind of clients are you looking for? Yeah.
The nationalities, the biggest at the moment are, I would say, the Dutch. We also have an awful lot of Lithuanians, which is incredibly good. And I would say Poland as well. But a lot of countries, because we're considered a safe country, we're a very neutral country in so many ways. You know, obviously with all the government changes and the encouragement, take the mayor of Estepona, for example. Yep. Why would you not want to come here? So we're lucky that the country is actually marketing itself in a lot of ways. But yeah, lots of different nationalities. So many that you'd be surprised.
Are there certain nationalities that buy cash, or there's certain nationalities that engage with the finance?
It's a good mix. It really is quite a good mix. I would say that sort of Northern Europeans, your sort of previous Eastern Bloc countries are very interested in finance. But what we find as well is it really doesn't matter the budget. What we try to do from the beginning is, and a good investor knows this, that rather than using the money that they have in the bank, it's far better to actually seek finance and keep that money for something else. So this is where we kind of encourage our clients, regardless of their background, regardless of how much they're looking to spend, to speak to you guys first so that they can start to work out their spending power.
It's a big thing for us to be able to speak to clients early in the decision-making process. There's a number of reasons. Number one is to make sure that they have the information to hand, that they can actually move forward with a plan, whether it be buying cash or with a mortgage. So they have information to make the right decision. But fortunately or unfortunately, getting a mortgage in Spain can take a little while. And it is a bit of a complex transaction. So at what point do you actually speak to clients about finance?
We actually introduce it in the very first phone call. It is something that we ask. We need to know budget because it's not to be intrusive, it's not to be nosy. It's so that we can guide the client to the right property for them. So we like to introduce them as early as possible. It assists us because then we know where their budget is going to be so that we can show them the appropriate things. But also as an agent, for our clients, it really helps us because we can go in then when we're negotiating with the finances already in place. So that if somebody else is looking at the property at the same time as our client, we're almost a cash purchaser.
Do you think that they expect it to be exactly the same as it is in their own country?
Some countries do, and we do get that a lot, that in X country it happens this way. And it's also, Spain is an amazing country, but it is very unique in a lot of ways, and certain things do happen here that do not happen in other countries. For example, it is not necessary to have floor plans. If it's a new development, absolutely. However, if we're talking about a property from 20, 30 years ago, the floor plans will have been lost literally in the sands of time. Whereas if you go to another country, it's obligatory to have floor plans. So it's an explanation of how it actually works here to make sure that there's a good understanding. But yeah, it does work very, very differently to different countries.
We get that a lot, especially from the finance angle. Clients will say to us, yes, but in my country, it doesn't happen. It's a much quicker process, or the banks are asking too many silly questions. In my country, they never ask that, which is a failure from our perspective, is that we need to be better at educating people that it is different here, and the sooner you engage or at least have a conversation with an expert about finance, the better it will be, the more prepared you will be able to take action.
Yeah, we do also try to prepare the clients, and as I said before, we try to take the client from the start of the journey throughout. So although their conversations with you are completely confidential, often the client will actually call us and say, for example, Tracie, I've received all this documentation. Is this normal? And obviously the answer in Spain, yes, it is. But a lot of it is for your protection. It's also to make sure that, the guys at Fluent Finance can do the very best job for you that they possibly can. But the Spanish banks will have requirements. And we also have to educate our clients as well because of the percentage that they may or may not be able to borrow. A lot of countries you can borrow 100%. Many clients do arrive with that vibe, that's the feeling that it's okay, they can choose whatever they want, they're going to get 100% mortgage, and they're good to go. And again, we don't want to shatter anybody's dreams, but we also have to make sure that we manage the expectation, and that's where you guys come in handy as well, is assisting us with that.
What are your clients saying about the golden visa and not being able to do that?
You know what the press is like. Anything like this, the press gets hold of it and suddenly it gets blown out of proportion. For our clients, we're making sure that they have all the knowledge that they need. To be honest, this is going to have very little impact. There are other visas out there that the majority of our clients are using anyway. We're doing a webinar in the very close future to really go into a lot of detail for it. But for our clients, they know that there's other possibilities for them. And to be honest, if it's a British or an American client, for the majority of them, they're only going to be using their 90 and 180 anyway, because they want to maintain their life in their home country. They just want to have it as holiday. And if it's an investment property, then there's zero impact onto it.
In fact, it may affect certain agencies.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to think of the bigger picture.
I think a lot of agencies have always advertised on, almost like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. The golden visa is your freedom ticket. Whereas if you actually take each client's circumstances, their financial position, etc., then the golden visa being withdrawn is really not going to have too much impact. As long as you're listening to your client and making sure that you're working towards what they need, it shouldn't really impact them.
Okay, so what are the main issues that Spanish real estate agents face in today's market, do you think?
I would say at the moment, demand is great. There is a massive demand from every nationality, and that's a good thing.
That's not an issue.
It is, because it's supply. So things are moving really, really fast. So once upon a time, we could easily say to a client, listen, take your time, think about it, there's no rush. And it's not a sales ploy, but now we are having to say, listen, don't take too long, or we've got to have a plan B, C, and D. If this one goes, what are we going to go to? So we kind of have to, again, work that into the equation. So it's not a negative, but if you didn't do it properly, it could be. And again, if you're not honest with a client, it could bite you on the butt.
So what you're saying is a lack of supply, there's not enough product?
A little bit. Because of the pandemic, unfortunately, it did put a lot of new builds behind slightly, which meant that the release wasn't fast enough to cope with the huge demand that came in following the pandemic. They got bought up, and now we have to wait for new things to be built. And of course, construction costs. So supplies for construction have increased, which means that the minimum entry prices have also increased.
That's new build. What about the resale market?
Resale market, if you are a seller, very strong. There is so much demand for, a lot of clients love the idea of off-plan, and of course now it's so heavily regulated, the old threat of losing your money doesn't exist. But also many clients do need to be able to touch and to feel. They have to know exactly what their view is going to look like. They need to know how big 12 square meters for a bedroom actually is. So resales is holding its own, it's going well.
So if I wanted to sell my property, how long do you think it would take me?
It depends on the property, the location, whether you're realistic with the price. I mean, obviously we try to guide you with the price. Yeah. If you put it on the market at too much, then you're not going to get any interest.
But if I was motivated to sell?
Some are going, literally, I mean, I had clients a couple of weeks ago, we were the very first to actually go and view it. It was a collaboration with another agent to see their property. They were the first in, they made an offer and it went. Some others, it can be 2 or 3 months.
So they can go pretty quick?
Yep. And new developments now, they can launch and sell out within weeks.
What you're saying is, but because properties can sell quick, you need to really be ready before you start viewing.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to have all your ducks in a row. Said once upon a time, you could take your time, you could go home, have a think about it, get your finance in place, and then decide to put an offer in. Unfortunately now, quite often when we're leaving a property, somebody else is going into view.
You snooze, you lose.
And also bear in mind that with new developments, they're increasing their prices consistently. So some of them, as they sell maybe 5, they'll increase the price. Or what they'll do is they'll hold a phase back, and that will come onto the market at considerably higher than the existing phases.
What are your thoughts on the regulation or lack of regulation of the real estate market here?
We would love to have regulation. As a very well-established company, our reputation, I think I've mentioned, is totally invaluable. Unfortunately, we have had clients come to us that have had the bad side of it. They've been sold the wrong thing, the agent hasn't listened. I mean, I've been to viewings where the agents just are not professional. They do not speak to their clients in a professional manner. They clearly do not have their clients' interests at heart. And to introduce some regulation, we would be absolutely fine. We would love it. It would make life a lot easier for us. And it will also, I mean, we've had to mop up pieces so many times with other agencies, and it's not fair, because then it gives us a bad reputation as an agency. as a result of other agents, but it's not fair on the clients. It shouldn't happen to them. They should be able to go in and expect a standard of service. They should expect that their agent is going to be completely honest with them and give them all of the facts.
Like it could be a bit of a lottery then.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, so longevity, track record, reputation.
All of it, yeah, and also who your affiliates are and who you sort of work alongside of, and your reputation is critical with this.
Perfect. Okay, well I think I'm done. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so. I think, you know, from our point of view, working, as I said before, with a professional finance company makes all of the difference. And we know that our clients are in safe hands. So we know that we pass over to the team that the client is going to be helped to the full capacity. So from us, I think working alongside of you is phenomenal.
I'd like to point out there is no commercial agreement.
Absolutely none whatsoever.
Between the two companies.
No. The same with lawyers. We don't have any kind of commercial affiliation with lawyers or any other financial company. We have to make sure that the information given to our clients is completely unbiased and everything is done above and transparently, so no.
Okay, well look, thank you very much. I really enjoyed our meeting today, our interview
Me
today.
too.
It's always lovely to see you. Hopefully I'll get to see David and the rest of the team soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.